That's how Alan met Clauzie. He's never killed anyone, but he actually was just walking at night and he saw Clauzie shove some guy into the street and he was smacked by a passing semi. She dashed out into the street, dragged the corpse off to the sidewalk, pulled off all the clothing and just started eating.
Oh, bother. I've got brains all over my club. Oh, Christopher Robin, I'm so sorry.
Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and to all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this brand new day with me waving my hands in the air like I just don't care. I've spoken with my hands my whole life. It's my way of mild stimming, so thumbs up for that. We still have the spider in the window up there. I need to sprinkle some water onto her web to make sure she has water to drink, but there's still no bugs, so hopefully she'll find something to eat. Little Ghost is still a-kicking. He's acting like a hamster. I mean, he drinks a lot, and one of the things they talk about, if a hamster has a cold or has pneumonia or any sort of respiratory thing, is they get very lethargic, cold, and stop drinking as much. He's slow, but he's not really lethargic. He's not really cold, and he just drinks a ton. So, but front-loading your videos, hey, if you could toss me a like, that'd be awesome. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be very cool. If you could leave me a comment, even for the algorithm, that would be double plus good. And I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These literally beautiful and literally awesome people are, in fact, literally beautiful and literally awesome, helping to keep me and my pets alive. Even though he's in trouble, he still eats food, and I need that food to keep him alive. So, thumbs up, thank you. I have forgotten how long I should keep my hands in the air, so my apologies. If you would like to help keep me and my pets alive, I have a link to my Patreon in the video description. Also links to a PayPal if you'd like to donate. There's an Amazon wishlist link with stuff like cat food. There's a post office box where you can send me anything at all. I only ask for postcards and keychains. I'll open up anything anyone sends me on camera. So here's hoping. Anyway though, front loading a video is over. Yay! Yesterday was a day. Holy smokes. I got my vlogging done. And then I wanted to do a little bit of relaxing and then do some recording of something, just to add form and structure to an otherwise formless and structureless life. I know there's no great call, or any call at all, for my content on YouTube, but I don't do it for fame and fortune or following or anything like that. It is mental health, form, and structure on an otherwise formless and structureless life. Without some form of formless and form and structure, I got nothing. So any skeletal structure to hang my life on is useful, which is why I record. But then I had some major falling asleep issues yesterday. Holy smokes. It was almost like 1 o'clock before I was finally able to break out of my falling asleep, waking up, falling asleep, waking up. It was awful. So, yeah, that was fun. Excuse me. Then I did my recording and editing, and then it was time to start getting ready to go on walkies. Barely made it out on time for that. When I got back, it had been 3 hours I was out. It was not a good night, and it wasn't even my fault. I put on my hiking boots because the weather was so bad. The wind was awful, and it was raining hard. And when I say the wind was awful, I like wind. I like the rain. I like the chill. I function well in it, even if I don't like cold. So when it's nasty weather outside, I actually enjoy going out walkies and that. The problem with wind when there's rain is if it's hard, you have to fight to hang on to your umbrella. You will literally lose that thing if you don't fight. And there was wind coming from the sides, and the worst part about the wind when it comes from the sides is you can brace yourself because it's coming in right at you. So you got to move your umbrella so it's pointing into it so that the wind hits the umbrella, flows off to the side, and then back behind you. At least in this area, if you're fighting against the wind this way, it can be like that. And suddenly the wind is with you. And if you're not hanging on hard to your umbrella, it is gone. because it's gone from 15-mile-an-hour winds this direction where you're going, good God, and then suddenly, boom, 15-mile-per-hour wind in that direction. And if you're not hanging on, goodbye. So you got to fight to hang on to this. One of the bad parts about that, of course, is if you've got the wind that's just coming from the side, you can keep the umbrella straight up, as I will do, because if you move it off to the side, it'll be gone. So you got to hang on to it, and the wind is just being side to side, and then you'll have the wind that'll come in all of a sudden straight up, and then you are fighting to keep it from dashing straight up into the air. Problem with that is the wind will suddenly force downward, like that, and you're already pulling downward on the umbrella so that it doesn't go way up into the air and be gone. So many times I went wham with the struts on the inside of the umbrella slamming into my head because I'm fighting to keep it from going in this direction, and then suddenly, because I'm pulling downward and the wind is suddenly blowing downward at 15 miles per hour, kabam! It was fun. I did not enjoy the wind and the umbrella. But it would have been so much worse if I hadn't had the umbrella. So that was joyous. 3 hours out there in the wind and the cold and the rain. It took forever and I hated every moment of it. But I don't go out walkies because I enjoy it. I go out walkies so I don't die from inactivity. I am healthier now in many ways than I have ever been. I am worse off in many ways than I've ever been because of my physical issues. I have very many back injuries. I am disabled because of the injuries that I have. I can't lift more than 15 pounds without pain. When I'm carrying my backpack on my back, if I don't take a whole handful of stuff and tank up heavy on THC and smoke joints as I go walking, I couldn't do it. I simply could not do it. So it's fun and joyous. But you gotta do what you gotta do. So it was fun, and I got to bed at like 1 o'clock in the morning last night. And then I wanted to stay in bed till 6:30, but pain and discomfort, I was up at 6, so I got an extra half hour of lying around and not sleeping. Yay! Now, one of the things that I did do was foolish this morning. I ate a can of Pringles potato crisps because they were very, very hot, extremely hot. I love hot food. Problem with eating potato chips is I cannot eat anything comfortably with my dentures in, so I got to take them out. And the crisps, I have insanely delicate skin, and just this sort of thing is going to tear apart your mucous membranes. When I eat potato crisps like Pringles, the roof of my mouth is torn apart for a good 16 hours. So I've got all the hot stuff going into all of the wounds that they tore open, and now I've had to glue in my upper plate, which holds whatever is left up there up against the skin. Yay! It is joyous. Now, one of the things that I have done, and I want to take a look here, I've tried to remember where this was, since I've been playing and recording these solo RPG things, one of the people that I watch has a laminated battle mat that they put things on. I used to have one of those decades ago, but he's putting on the big laminated battle mat all of the characters and drawing the map out on the laminated battle mat. I don't really want to spend a bunch of money because I don't have it. But last night, when I went to Walmart, I bought some cardstock stuff. And for Note Quest, a small room is a 4x4 area. So I cut out a whole bunch of these off of one sheet of cardstock. And here's a whole bunch of small room tiles. And I'm going to make some medium and large and then see how that works out. Just, I still will have to map onto paper. But this way I can at least put things on there to make it like it's an actual game board type thing. Yeah, it'd be nicer if I had better card and I was an artist and I didn't have to use scissors and my hands worked better. But it's fun. I enjoy things. And I really am enjoying the game Note Quest. I talked about before how I did not like how the combat system was presented in the book. I don't like that you just trade back and forth, boom, 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 no roll to hit, you just trade damage until one of you is dead. And you have to roll for damage, and the monsters just do a set amount every turn. So if you're fighting 3 monsters that do 3 points of damage every turn, you take 9 points until you kill one of them, and then you take 6 points every turn. You kill another one, you take 3 points every turn. I hated that. So I tried a combination, a different homebrew combat rule, and that was fun. But on this one, I just used the regular as presented combat rules. That was actually more fun than I thought it would be. It made for some actually tense battles. 2 of them that were actually in frickin' tense. So yeah, suddenly I am sold on the actual as written combat rules. It is a very good game. It is simple and simplistic, so it plays fast, but it is still, while not thoroughly in depth, it is enough to scratch an itch you may have, especially since after this one, because I actually solved a dungeon, I'm going to try going into the expanded world with the whole hex crawling and making an overworld for it. So thumbs up on that. As well as it appears that there's like some minor hex crawl overworld adventure stuff for 4 Against Darkness, as well as one book that, while it's still just a labyrinth and a dungeon, it's for woodland areas with woodland creatures. So it's like a computer role-playing game from back in the 80s and 90s, where if you went outside, it was still a maze. The only thing that changed was the graphics for the walls, but it felt like, oh, we're outside now. Nothing changed but the graphics. It's kind of like that. Thumbs up. And that's about it for that. I mean, the one thing that I am kind of sad about is I have all of the D100 dungeon books. Like, there's D100 dungeon book, all of the hardcover physical copies. I have no PDFs for it. I have been going through, because I have PDFs for the other things and then printed them out at the library. Every time I go, oh, here's a rule, I put the rule up on the screen and talk about it. I won't be able to do that with D100 Dungeon. And you have to look through the books a lot. So I don't know how well that's going to translate into a good video to show. And I can't go through and just buy the PDFs, because those are like anywhere from 15 to 20 bucks each. I can't afford to spend $100 on that. So we'll see how that works out. Thumbs up. Past that, I want to talk about some creative stuff now. One of the things that I've talked about, the various older cryptids. One of the older cryptids, I think it might be Calvin Hillard, the one cryptid whose wife got cancer and died and has just been traveling the countryside now. I think it's this individual talking about how most cryptids in the world see human beings as just cattle. We're sheep. We're there to be eaten. We're nothing more than just, livestock. Dumb, cud, chewing things. But this cryptid, Calvin, because he worked with business people and read documentaries, watched documentaries, read books. He says human beings, the humanity, our species, we are not cattle, we're not sheep, we are ultimate apex predators. The libraries and history is filled with individuals, with organizations, with cultures and civilizations that were rolled over and destroyed because they got in front of the bulk of humanity and profitable capital. Whoosh! Destruction. Do not get between humanity and possible profitable capital gains. And even now, with our industrial military complex in the United States, we are apex predators. But most of humanity is just sleepwalking. We don't have any real threats anymore. There's nothing to really rally around. It's even hard to rally a nation around things to go to war. But there is something. And this older cryptid is terrified that humanity will discover the existence of dark cryptids that devour human beings. Because then the entirety of the human race now has a common enemy. And all of the sleepwalkers are going to wake up. And he's terrified that that might happen. Because the bulk of humanity may not know and be able to interact with cryptids. But we are clever and smart, especially when it comes to killing and profit. Once we realize something is there, we're going to figure out a way to detect it and then hunt it down. So, oh, hokey smokes. I like the cryptids. Let's hope the bulk of humanity doesn't realize they're there. And of course, I wanted to talk about how, with the changing of the generations of cryptids, I've talked about Polly's parents, Clauzie and Alan. One of the things that goes into human beings taste really good. We also physically are not just tasty, but physically good to eat. There are compounds in our meat that activates pleasure centers as you are eating. You can feel it. It feels good on your tongue, on your gums, your cheeks, your roof of your mouth. When you swallow human meat, you can feel it sliding down the inside of your throat, and as your stomach expands to accept that meat, it just feels good. And then, of course, digesting human meat releases compounds that combine with compounds in the cryptid digestive system that creates chemicals that cryptids, for 2 hours after they eat a human being, will feel like they have taken a moderate strength euphoric, like oxy. They will feel a mild effect, like they'd taken a mild hallucinogenic. Things look good, smell good, sound good. They always did, but now there's more. It releases floods of all of those reward neurotransmitters. They feel so good when they eat human beings. And of course, once you do that, there is an actual and true aphrodisiac effect upon cryptids when they've got a belly full of human meat. That's how Alan met Clauzie. He's never killed anyone, but he actually was just walking at night and he saw Clauzie shove some guy into the street and he was smacked by a passing semi. She dashed out into the street, dragged the corpse off to the sidewalk, pulled off all the clothing and just started eating. Alan watched this and he was just entranced because as she was hunched, naked, covered in blood over this body, lamplight on one side, moonlight on the other, her hair coated in blood and going off in weird directions, and just the light of brutal madness in her eyes with human meat stuck in her teeth as she was choking down half-chewed chunks of human flesh. She was the most entrancing and beautiful creature he had ever seen in his life. So as he walked up to her, he just, a rough general, "Hey, you gonna eat all that or can I join you?" And when she looked up, she liked what she saw. And she invited him to join. So the two of them just finished off the person that she had murdered. And then of course they, because of the aphrodisiac effect, they just ended up banging right there in the middle of the blood and the sidewalk, and they became partners. as in they enjoyed each other's company, they made each other happy, and for the past 20 some odd years they have been a couple. And that's how wooing can work amongst cryptids. And I've opened up 24 hours by the comments on my community tab. Going to go through and thank how many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count American Sign Language, well, you've seen how my brain works. So let me call up my Chrome. We have Chad, Dalziel, thumbs up and thank you. Chris, greatly appreciated. Good to see you. Bob Maurice, thumbs up, thank you very much. Jesse Koskinen, greatly appreciated, and more to come. We have JAYY, thumbs up, and I am alive. Hopefully you are alive as well, and good to see you in the comments again. Cake, I have still some questions and stuff that I need to answer for you because I like thinking about these things, and greatly, greatly appreciate it. Definitely a thumbs up. Adrian FNTES, yes, I have a lot of stuffed hamsters back there as well as other creatures. So people were very nice and they used to send me things. So yay, but yeah, a lot of hamsters, especially Hamtoro. There is Ben B, greatly appreciated. Good to see you in the comments. Floramu, yeah, it's the circle of life. It happens, and always good to see you. We have, that is it actually, 9 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours. Greatly appreciated, each and every one of you. You get me out of my head, into the world, and dealing with real people, if only in text, and if only for a short time. Thumbs up for that. Well, I'm going to be taking it easy today. I'm going to be doing some early walkies. I need to get some more printing done up at the library, so gotta walk up for that, and since they close at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, gotta go early, and since I'm gonna walk that far, it's about a mile and a half, maybe mile and a half. I might as well just make the whole walk to Walmart and get that done too. Hopefully you can get done the things that you would like to get done. It being a weekend, again, just take care and take it easy. And of course, with all the diseases and such out there in the world, I still have to talk about how in the last month I have almost died from morons driving on the street. So both cases, it wasn't my fault, but my life choices about whether I live or die were taken out of my hands, put into other people's hands, and thank God they didn't kill me. So I gotta talk about that. But just take care. Take appropriate precautions, be very, very careful, and if you hear the mournful howl of that bus horn just echoing through the fog at night, yeah, you're gonna get smeared. You're gonna get smeared on the landscape, and it ain't gonna be pretty when they find what's left of you. But until that time, live your life as best you can. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is a very good thing.